Searching for files and locating any items that are already stored inside any Kali Linux or any Linux operating system is the standard part of a user and his job role. So in order to find the locations of a particular file or a folder or a directory, you can use the commands that are the find and the locate, two commands that we will use in these lessons. So let's start first with the find. That is also the command. So the command is simple, find, and it finds all of the locations. The file name you will provide here with the directory name, or the if you are not working in the home directory, then you cannot provide that too. But from any prompt with any user, you can provide the locations or the directories in order to search for any specific file names. So let's start first with the find. So the prompt for the find is syntax that will be used is the name, find and the name. And in case if I'm going to find something like the all payloads, then it will find it with the path that it is belonging to. So this is the all payloads, as this is the inside the home folder or the home directory, you can say, and here it is. So there is no much path is required to type or provide with the find and the name. Just need to provide the location or the location file name that it will be searching for. So finding the file name is easier with the find and the name command here that we provide with the syntax name. And let me clear once again. Alright, so let's start with finding some of the useful files that is inside the Kali Linux and going up directory to get the details of that. So the command will be simple, find, and now I will provide the directory. So here is the directory one level up, and now type the name that it will be searching for. So the name I'm going to search for is the dictionary file that is already comes with the Kali Linux in order to crack the passwords. So that's name is rocku, and hit enter, and it will find that everything. Alright, so we can see this is the permission denied. Let me type the sudo. Alright, let me clear it once again in order to show one more command. So using the upper arrow keys, we can use the previous commands and get the previous command that we have already executed. And as you can see, the cursor is at the last of this search string or the commands that we have used. So using the left and right arrow key, we can move left and right. But this is simple and short commands. What will happen if you type the long commands in 1 to 2 to 3 lines? You can simply go to first line where you need to edit. So in this case, I'm going to use the sudo at first before the find command. What I will use is the Control A that will come to the first position of the command. And if you want to go to the end, use the Control E. That's way we can go to first and last of the commands. We don't need to use the cursor and the pointer here using the arrow key to move from right to left. Alright, so this is the file name. Now let me provide the sudo command first. And at the last, let me put the complete file name, that is the txt and gz. Now hitting enter will provide the location and find that file exactly where it is. So we can see now the first one. Here it is using the file system, and we can also see inside the word list, this is the exact file location, and here it is too. So these are the three, actually this is at the 2 or 3 positions, and this is contained inside the Kali Linux, but this is isolated in many ways. So we can find that according to this find command using the directory that we have provided. Now let's move to the second command, that is the locate, that we have already seen. So in order to locate a file or a directory, we can use the locate command and searching for the same file, rocku.txt, directories.gz. It will find that exact location inside the word list. We can also use the only some parts of a file name and it will locate that too. So here we can see this is roq1 to 7 and some other parts are also there. But the main file, that is the longer list of the word list, is this one, roq.txt.gz. We need to uncompress this, so we will do that in the later modules. Alright, so this is for the finding informations and finding directories, that is finding files too that is available inside the Kali Linux, because many times you are going to deal with the some specific files that will be sometimes hidden. Like say for example, some tools also use hidden properties to hide the report file that you have generated using the tool in order to hide that. So searching for manually will be hectic sometimes, but using the commands like the find and locate, we can quickly find it over the terminal. Alright, so now let's have a look on the type command, that is the type, and using the command for which you want to know the category of that command. So say for example the ls command, we want to know the ls command type and the category. It will say that the ls is the earliest to ls and this one. So basically ls is consisting of these commands. We can also similarly find more commands like the type, and we can also use the if statement that we already use in the shell scripting. We will see in next modules and the next couple of lessons. It will say that the if is a shell keyword. Similarly, you can find a category of any command that you are going to use inside the Kali Linux. Moving to the next commands, that is the free, that will say all of the free stuff inside your system, like the memory used, shared memory used, cache memory, and the available disk. This way you can find out using that. We can also use using the human readable. So free using the h, we can see inside this is the gigabyte. Coming to the next one, that is the uname. Let me clear it first. So the uname is the printing informations. Let me see some of the commands first. So the man uname. We can see this is the printing informations, system information. We can use various switches, but most of them are uname and a, that will say the Kali Linux with the version and the system architecture with the Debian and the date that on which it has been installed and it is running. We can also see the system architecture here. This is the GNU Linux. We can also see the kernel version and the kernel name as well. So using the uname, the kernel name is used by the S switch. We can see this is the Linux kernel. So as I mentioned in the first couple of lessons of this course, the Linux is the kernel name of the operating system, and this is the reason why it is widely used. And coming to the next message and the next command, you want to know the exact command that you want to use in any cases. So using the man page, you can find out many things like the kernel version, machine, and the hardware name, processors as well. So everything's are there. That depends on the user and the administrator who you want to use it for and what the information you want to extract from our system or the Linux machine. So using the name uname, we can also use the p, that is unknown. We can also use the k. Alright, so this is not available. We can use the s, that is for the kernel. Trying out other options, that says the GNU Linux. Alright, so now let's have a message from the kernel. So the Linux kernel that prints out all of the informations for a device drivers that are associated with your system and on which the Linux operating system, in this case the Kali Linux, is running on. So that is the command. Sudo is used for the super user privilege. So sudo, and the command is dmesg. That prints every information related to the device drivers that are associated with your system and Kali Linux. So every information will be related to the device drivers and the Linux kernels. Just try out using the find and locate options. There are many situations in which you can also use, like the man page and the find. You will find more options that can be used to even create a shell scripting or some of the programs that you can use. In Windows, it is called batch file programming, and in Linux, it is called shell programming or the shell scripting. So every command we use on the terminal is used using the bash shell. Bash stands for born again shell. We will see that later, but for now you can use all of the commands combined, and that will be a program. We will also see that how we can take input from the user, and that prints after taking input of a particular user or a particular commands. We can also use the locate command, so the man page, and that find files by name. Using the patterns can also be used, as we have already seen about the wildcard. So we can also use the wildcard to find out. See you in the next lessons.